Okay, I believe it's going now. Yes, it is going. So here we are. We're ready to begin our red thread. It's, I think enough time has gone by that if anybody else was going to come in, they would have come in by now, but welcome. Welcome. All right, so I put as the storyline for today's red thread our second legend. We talked about in the last gathering that in the red thread connection we have 4 legends, and the first legend we worked with was I am already connected, meaning I am already connected to the red thread just by virtue of showing up. And the second legend is you are called to this circle. So I called you and you answered. You said yes to the call. And the way of the red thread, when we answer that call, it empowers us. Yeah, it empowers us, and we come together with like-minded people. And when we come together in the red thread calls, what starts to happen is we begin to experience transformation in our circle in very subtle ways and sometimes very significant ways. But because we are being witnessed, we're being supported, we're being encouraged by each other, we begin to undergo a transformation. And chosen transformation experiences really do open us up to live more fully, you know, to begin to live more fully our lives that we are each called to live, because we really are each called to our life. And sometimes we kind of check out of our life. We do it periodically because life is that roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, it goes around, and, you know, we're all going crazy on it. Most of the time we have fun, but we go through challenging times and we go through times of sorrow, right? And times of loss. But our goal in the red thread is to be there for each other so that when we tug on the red thread, we know another red thread holder will respond to us and listen. We don't come together to offer each other advice, direction, to psychoanalyze each other. We just know that as we hold our piece of the red thread, that we're coming together to really witness and hear and to see each other, to hear each other, to support each other. And we do share our insights when one of us is sharing and asks, does anybody have any insights, or what do you all think? You know, that's the only time we offer our opinions and our advice and our directions. Otherwise, we hold the space for one another to just be heard, to be witnessed, to be seen. So each of us really is called. We were each called to the red thread circle for various reasons, and we all answered. And so we heard it clearly, and we came. And sometimes the call seems too big for us. And when it seems too big, it can seem too big based on the limitations we may be feeling at that particular moment in our life. And so we won't come to a red thread circle. And that's okay. We have to always realize it's okay if we can't make a red thread circle. So the teachings of the red thread, as you all know, is to begin to imagine ourselves as leaders in our lives and as proactive in our lives, and as holders of the red thread in the way of helping to cause and create our lives in ways that are both gentle and truly powerful. So it's so wonderful to see all 3 of you here today, and to accept that you're here, to accept that you answered the call, and to thank you for answering the call. So what I'm going to do is just have you spread your journal out in front of you, or your whatever you're writing on, and have it nearby so that as I'm sharing a little bit, whatever comes up inside of you, you have that ready to make your notes, to make your comments. If I say something, you know, often a person will say something and will go, oh, that's so relevant to me right now. Make sure you write it down, okay? Just know that it's okay to give your attention to your journal while I'm sharing this information before I pass the red thread. So I invite you to imagine something with me. Even if we are just getting to know each other, right? Our time has come because here we are. Each one of us is here, and we've always been here. We've always been here in this moment in time. In the red thread, one of our philosophies is the concept of quantum connection. Even though we're not with each other physically in each other's space, we're here together in that quantum connection. And you can feel the love I'm sending you, the best wishes I'm sending you, the support I'm giving you. You can feel it through the quantum field, just as I can feel yours, because we all agree. We all imagine and we all know that we are connected through this quantum field. So, you know how we hear, I'm there in spirit? You've heard people say that too. I'll be there in spirit. I can't make it physically, but I will be there in spirit with you. And actually, it's true. In a quantum connection way, we are there with one another. I'm sending you my love. They are sending us their love. And if we open to receive it, then we amplify it, we lift it up, and we experience it, and it can come inside of us to the very core of our being. But we can also go, whatever, you know, and refuse it and shut down on it. And then we close that door. So when people can't be with us physically or make it to be with us, but they send their spirit to us or they send their love to us, from this day forward, let's open to receive it with love, with blessing, and experience that energy vibration, because it's pretty powerful. The red thread connection, when we are not physically in the same proximity, is a sacred practice. And every time we come together, we're coming together in sacred circle. We're coming together in the red tent. We're coming together to be unified and to be empowered by one another. So I'm inviting you to begin to imagine that we truly are in the same space whenever we come together. We are feeling each other. We're sending to each other and we're receiving from one another. So in a way, you're agreeing by being here. I choose to be in circle. I choose to be in quantum space with you. I choose to be in the red thread with you. And by virtue of that, we are. Like reach out and touch someone. Reach out and touch someone, your love. I feel you. I feel you. So the last thing I want to just share is being connected, even in the quantum way like this, changes the way our heart responds and how our body feels. We can create physical reactions in one another. We can give each other chills. We can give each other the warm fuzzies. We can give each other a smile on our face. We can incite the excitement towards doing something. We don't realize it's because of the energy field that we've entered into agreement to be in the same energy field. And when we start to apply that to all areas of our life, life begins to really change for us. especially in this pandemic when we are alone. We talked about this in our last Red Thread Circle. We may be isolated, but we truly are not alone. We aren't. Whenever you connect up in a Zoom call or whenever you connect up through the internet with anybody, you really are connecting up with them. And here we are holding the space for one another that we are together. So those of us who really love this feeling of connection and desire to serve others, either in the virtual, or physical, and choose to share ourselves, we are really listening and fulfilling our own inner need. And getting and receiving from it. So you're serving humanity right now to awaken consciousness. Did you know that? By coming together in the red thread, you are choosing to help awaken humanity consciously. That's a pretty powerful role because, everything becomes possible when we believe. Everything becomes possible when we believe. So we're going to begin our red thread circle. And Ariana, this is the first time you're coming to a red thread circle. So what I just want to share with you so you have a sense of rhythm with it. Red thread circles kind of flow the same way each time, but differ in content a little bit. What we're doing is we create a container when we first come together. We create a container in the quantum field. Usually with a little sharing like this. I give a little pep talk or a little inspirational talk. And I don't have to be the only one. If someone feels that they want to do the opening for a future red thread circle, all you have to do is let me know, and then you'll be the one to kick us off before we begin the official red thread circle, because we're all such wise women and we all have such wonderful experience and wonderful insights. The one thing that's important with beginning a red thread circle with an inspirational talk is that it's just that. It's inspirational and it helps us to maybe look at life just a little bit differently or implement a new way of thinking or a new perception. That's all. And usually it's about a 5-10 minute talk. And then we go into the red thread circle. And so you're going to be experiencing now the flow of a red thread circle. They're very gentle and you're going to have plenty of time to share. So here we go. So I'm going to invite everybody to enter into sacred space now. And again, remember that today's intention that we're holding is the second legend, which is you are called to this circle. You are called to this circle. Okay. And that's the second legend. And with that, what I would like to do is just have you settle in to your heart center and relax into your heart. Relax into that center space within you that allows you to feel connected to the divine, that allows you to feel connected to your sacred self, your higher self, and your connection to the divine. To relax into your heart center where you know we are all connected as we hold the space for one another in red circle. Red thread circle. And let's take a gentle breath in. And as we take a gentle breath in, just use the exhale to let go of anything you had to do in order to get here today. Just let it go. Just let it go. And our second gentle breath as we breathe in, we're breathing in the presence. We're breathing in being fully present and here right now. And so breathing in and exhaling and being fully present in the now. And our third breath, as we breathe it in, we're breathing in the things we have to do after our red thread connection, knowing that we'll do those when that time comes, that we don't need to worry about them or think about them right now, that we're going to remain in the present. And so let's just breathe those things in. And as we exhale, we secure them knowing that they'll be taken care of. And just hold the space by resting now in your heart as I read the poem of encouragement. And allow these words to sink inside of you. There are days when it seems life is too big for us. And no matter what we dream up or change, what we commit to making won't make the difference we actually need. As it turns out, it is not the change itself we are in need of. What we are in need of is being a people who believe change is possible in the face of the impossible. What we need is the ability to act from that faith instead of acting from our despair. We are destined to rise and fail and rise again, to love and hurt and love again, to win and lose and win again, to create and destroy and create again. It's just like that here on earth. If we can choose to be a people who believes, then not only can we move in grace, but we can connect with others who are weaving the world together. And we open to allow the red thread connection to assist us in accomplishing this belief. Take a gentle breath in, and as you exhale, just relax and feel your heart filled with love. And I'm gonna have you begin to focus on something that in a moment, as I pass the red thread, you're going to share with each other, okay? So taking your writing implement, I'm going to provide you with 4 questions, 4 inquiries, because the divine answers us when we give forth inquiry, okay? And the first thing I want you to do on your page though, and I did mine in colored markers so that I can show it as an example, okay? You don't have to use colored markers if you don't, but a pen is fine. But on one page, you're just gonna draw a sun any way you want and make rays, because you will be writing your answers on the rays of 4 rays that have all the rays coming out. So just take a moment to draw your sun with rays.
Can you use any marker if you want?
You can use whatever you want. You can even use lipstick.
Hey.
Lipstick works, you know.
And do we draw the rays now? Okay.
Yeah, make a sun in the middle of your page but you want to make sure you have rays coming out from it. And as you're drawing it, you're holding the intention that you are called to this circle. You are called to this circle. It's so good to see all of you today. Now, are you ready to hear the first inquiry?
Yep.
All right. And we're making the timeline be since the beginning of the pandemic. So during this phase of your life, okay? What common theme have you been called to or have been observing about yourself throughout this pandemic? What common theme about yourself have you been observing throughout this pandemic? And just let it, there's no right or wrong answer, just let it come out and then just write it down.
Write it down on the...
On one of your rays, yeah.
Oh, okay.
In a couple of words, you know, or in a sentence, just write it down. The second inquiry, what has been your biggest or smallest challenge that has happened in your life during this pandemic? Your biggest or smallest challenge that has happened in your life during this pandemic. Inquiry 3. What do you know for sure about your life experience during this pandemic that by sharing it with others is a service to the world? What do you know for sure about your life during this pandemic that sharing it with other people provides a service to the world? And inquiry number 4, what excites you? What excites you? Now in the middle of your sun, in the middle of that sun, we all may have different belief systems. You may feel your divine presence is called by God or Buddha or Goddess or Allah or a host of other ways that we refer to the divine. Whatever yours is, in the middle of that sun, what is the one thing you need to hear from divine right now? What is the one thing you really need to hear right now? And write that in the middle of your sun. Now this is not an inquiry. It's a sharing. What gift have you received during this time of pandemic. What is the one blessing? And we've looked at that last week, so you can write the same one. You can write up to 3, but what is the gift you've received during this time of pandemic? You should have a couple more rays there, so just write it out. So I'm going to pass the red thread, and the first person I pass it to, of course, is going to share or as much as you want to about your answers, that, you know, share as much as you want, how it's making you feel by looking, being asked these questions. Did the answers surprise you? Did they reveal anything important to you? Provide you maybe with new insights? And I think we can each do like 5 minutes. We can do 5 minutes. So I'll keep track of the timer. When you're done, then you'll pass the thread on to the next woman in the circle, okay? So, and remember, we're here to witness and to support and to see you and hear you. So I am going to start off by passing the red thread to Marsha.
Oh no, I knew that was going to happen. Why did I know? It's my punishment.
Take it. So everybody, as you're holding your piece of the red thread, it's going around. So it's one big thread that's going to circle around us all, okay? All right.
Okay, I've got it. So I'm just going to go according to the answers in the sequence that you asked, right? Okay. I didn't write down the actual questions. I just wrote down the answers. So the first one, I don't recall what the question was, but the first one, I think that's what I've noticed during the time of pandemic, is that I'm alone and lonely. I think I mentioned before, I'm displaced. I'm not living where I normally pay rent and live in Huntington Beach. But because of my roommate being sick, I up and left March 13th, and I'm relocated to Long Beach, where my aunt has an occupied home. And so I'm here by myself, and I never realized like how alone I really am in the world, you know. I've always been in a relationship, so it's just, and I haven't been in one in 10 years. And so now it's just right here. So it's kind of, that's what I've noticed. The second one, the biggest challenge, I think, is what I wrote. It's been very challenging during the time of pandemic for me, that not seeing my grandchildren. I was in the midst of, I should be in Oregon right now, visiting them as of April 16th. I was due to fly there. That obviously didn't happen. And I'm due to actually fly there again for my granddaughter's birthday, July 1st. That probably won't happen. And it's very upsetting. I have not been there for her in 8 years, for her birthday. So it's been very upsetting. And and the challenge of not seeing family and being displaced again where I'm at, and having to become acclimated to this house, which is actually really great, but still wasn't my home. So the third thing, as far as being of service, I would say, I mean, my background is I was a director of customer experience at Las Vegas Convention Center, is what popped up for me. And that is like my passion. So my passion is people, making sure everybody else is okay, not me, but everybody else. So I spend my days on telephone calls, making sure everybody's doing fine and checking in, and as exhausting as it is, it's very rewarding for me. So I think that it's my way of letting everybody know that they're loved and cared for, and friends and family. So that's my being of service the best I could be right now, because I'm 65 and I'm not leaving my house. So, so it's gonna happen unless I have to. The fourth thing, what excites me right now, I would say what I've really gotten out of being alone and really faced with being alone is that I don't want to be anymore. And that, so I've kind of called into the universe that, okay, when this pandemic is over, I'm ready for a relationship, bring it on. And I will tell you, in the course of the last 2 weeks, I've had 5 men. I don't know where they're coming from. I mean, high school, Facebook, old boyfriends, you name it. I think this pandemic has caused, as we all could probably relate, everybody's mortality is like right here. And I think all the single men in the world have probably 10 times as much, because it's like, I've got a free trip to Hawaii. I've got a trip to Colorado. I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere. It's kind of funny. So I know it's out there, and I know I'm being responsible by creating it. Just not repeats. That's all I ask.
Last minute.
Oh, okay. And I would say my insight is how grateful I am of all the blessings in my life. Did I do that one? Yeah. Yeah. So the blessings of my relationships in my life, and I'm grateful for that. And what I wrote in the center is that I'm okay and I'm safe. Of what I want to know, ask God or the universe that I'm okay, healthy, safe, and everything's going to be okay.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. All right. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So pass the red thread on.
Oh, okay. This one's for, I'm going to say, is it Angela?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Well, I think I shared last week what I have gotten out of the pandemic is being much closer to the family that I live with. My daughter and son-in-law and granddaughter, and we moved in together a year ago. And for that year, in a sense, they've been busy outside of the house most of the time when I'm home alone as they're out living life. And what this has given me is time at home with all of us. And it's been a real gift. I'm enjoying getting to know my son-in-law better. I'm lavishing my time with my granddaughter. We were reading Winnie the Pooh together at the moment. It was great fun. It's just been a real gift to discover our life together here in this house in Fountain Valley. The challenge for me is I think I've been in the house, been out twice since March 13th in the last week. The challenge is I'm an impulsive person, and to not be able to go and do something right when I think of it. To go see somebody or buy something, or just that impulsivity has had to stop because I'm not going anywhere, and that has been a real challenge for me. What I know for sure that's of service is just how important family is. I have a son in Texas and a daughter in Montreal, and really missing them, worried about them, how they're doing in the pandemic. So I would say just being conscious of how others that you are important in your life are faring and checking in on them and sending support is what I do. What excites me is what has always excited me is designing in color. I design inspirational graphics that I send out on a daily basis to an email list. And, I've been doing a lot of that designing, getting ahead for the posters, and just that's what excites me. Always has, always will. Um, it's really my life force. It's when I get connected to sources, when I'm in the midst of creating something. And certainly I've had plenty of time to do that home alone, home all these months. What I need to hear from source is that I am loved and taken care of and will prosper. And what gift I've received from the pandemic, I think I'll go back to my first one and say closeness to family. That's really, really been the gift that this time has given me. So thank you. And Ariana, I'm going to pass the red thread to you.
Can I just make a quick comment to Angela? You are so very, very welcome to post anything you would like to our Facebook group. Any of your inspirational stuff, I think we would all love to see, so don't hesitate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Angela, I was going to ask if I could be on your email list where you send those graphics daily, inspirational graphics. I would love to receive them. I don't use Facebook really, so it's unlikely that I'll ever see them there. But I would be happy to. Tell me how I can do that.
Is my name Angela J. Dale? ANJELAJDALE at AOL.
At AOL.com?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. AOL.com. All right, I'll send you my email. My name is Ariana. I'll put that in there and just add me to your list. I'd love to. I'm getting all kinds of lovely.
I'd love to include you.
A little muffled. I'm not sure what you said. I'll email you. Okay, well, it's nice to join your circle, ladies. I had no idea what this was about, but I just thought it would be fun to try. I like the sound of it. I'm an artist too, Angela, by the way, and also a musician. But I've been a pictorial artist and designer and fashion designer and costume designer, done creative work always. So I'm going to appreciate seeing your inspirational work. Okay, so I didn't write down the questions either, but I'm feeling grateful, appreciative for all of the positive influences that are happening here, in spite of all the horror and the disaster and the loss and the death and the suffering and all of them. It's overwhelmingly heavy. And then it also brings out the best in people. So for example, Angela, you're sending out your inspirational graphics, and Gizmo, you're starting a circle, and although maybe you always had it, I don't know. But you know, there's just millions of ways that people are offering their services and offering their content. I'm on so many email lists. I don't know how the heck I get on most of them, but I'm just flooded every day with opportunities like this. It's really inspiring and beautiful. So let's see. I do feel sad and lonely and lost also. And because I'm alone also, no pets even or anything. So, uh, other than going to the market twice a month, I've been in here. That's for the most part, that's it. I'll go around my circle here. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. What can I offer? I'm just going to say my truth. I'm, uh, I'm wise. I'm loving. I'm compassionate. I'm understanding. So I'm a valuable asset to anyone whose life I'm in. And that's what I have to offer. Um, and I really am grateful for that too, that people come to me that for that. Um, the message I'm receiving, though I'm isolated physically very much, but I feel from the universe that I'm loved. And what this has given me is more focus. I've spent, I'm old. I've spent a lot of years procrastinating, um, as if I'm going to live forever. And this has just sort of focused me on like, you don't have all that much time left. You've wasted a lot of it. You've been very productive in many good ways too, but there are many more things I still want to accomplish before I leave this mortal coil. So I'm still procrastinating, don't get me wrong, but way less. I'm more focused on how I'm using my time. And it came about just in one day when three things arrived in my world on the same day that just sort of woke me up like, oh, come on now, get busy. So that was a few weeks ago. Yeah, that's it for me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So we're all saying the same thing, basically. We really are. And we know that being connected by the red thread, the red thread is a reminder that we truly are not alone. We may be isolated, but we're not alone. We have each other. Ariana, I hear that what you're saying, that you don't get involved in Facebook very much. I'm really bad with Facebook too, but we started a Facebook group for just those of us who come together in the red thread as a forum or as a vehicle for instant access to one another, so that if at any given time in our life, and I'm talking about beyond pandemic even, that we need to pull on the red thread, we have that immediate access. Hey, I need to pull on the red thread. Man, I am going through this right now. I just need to know someone's hearing me. Or I really would like some insight on this issue in my life. What do you ladies offer? We're a pretty small group. I think there's maybe one other person in that. One other person in the red thread group and another coming in. We're very, very small. So the point is we become each other's true support system. We all have friends, we all have families, but there is something different about the red thread connection and the sisters who hold the red thread. We know that there's absolutely no judgment, absolutely no judgment. And that someone is there for us. And that's an important realization. So that's the reason why we're on Facebook, because the meetup group is pretty public. I don't feel comfortable posting a lot of stuff in the discussion area just because it's so public. Anybody who has a meetup can read all that stuff, and so that's why we use it. Okay, so a couple of things that I'm hearing. One, you can, if everybody wants, we could form a little email list, but
That's what I was just gonna say.
yeah, yeah. So Angela, I put your email in the chat. If you've never done chat, just click on the chat below and it'll pull up the chat. So if everybody wants to put their email in there, when you get this, I think I can have it saved with the chat, so that when you get the email recording, and when I email you the recording, it'll actually have the chat with it. But if not, we have the meetup group. You can go in, we can connect to each other through there, and you can get a person's email address through our meetup.
So we're all in except for Mel. John.
Wait, what?
Three of us are in, 3 of the 4 on the chat.
Marcia, you haven't put your email address in the chat. Are you able to do that?
Yep, I put my email in there.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, so it's right there.
I don't see it.
Oh, it's right there.
It didn't come up for me. I have it though, so
I know.
no hurry. Oh, there it is. Oh, there, no.
Oh,
Did I
that's
spell yours right, Angela? Did I spell it wrong? Is that what I did?
Yes.
Okay. So disregard the first time I wrote it because it's wrong. So make sure you copy her email address afterwards.
Right, it's Angela J.
And okay, so Ariana, I'm an artist too, so we're all artists.
So,
Yeah, and we have 5 minutes of our red thread connection time. So I just want to finish the red thread, and then there's one little thing I want to share with y'all before we head out for today. We are at the point where it's time to cut our red thread. So imagine that now we're cutting the red thread between each one of us, and know 100% that even though we are separating from one another, we are still quantumly connected to the red thread to one another. Okay, so that's an important realization, that we may be standing alone, but we are not alone. We are not alone. And that's so important for us to always remember. Really, really important. Okay, I have something I just want to read in closing. And I read it last time, but I'm going to read it again because Ariana wasn't here. Each of us has a capacity to see the whole circle. Look around. Everyone is holding their part. You may be one who has felt you were responsible, this is to you, Marcia, for the whole circle since you can see it, but you aren't. You are only responsible for the piece you are holding.
I like that.
Yeah. Because we all feel like we're supposed to help everybody in the world, and then we do sacrifice ourselves sometimes. So we're here to take care of each other by holding our own piece of the red thread. So I'm going to wrap it around each of you and tie a bow. We get to use our imagination in red thread a lot. Before I say blessing and we close, does anybody have anything they want to share for today's Red Thread Circle?
Well, I do. Just a little bit of an update real quick is that I know last time we talked, the last couple of times, I have, since I've been here and actually for the last year, have been having mother-daughter issues, and I wasn't really connected with my daughter, Lauren Kisman, you know of her. Anyway, and didn't know why, but she was going through whatever she was going through, childhood things. And she's 41. So anyway, after a year, she called and we're reconnected over the last 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yay. That's beautiful news.
yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful news.
Anyway, so that's really great. And that's part of what I'm working on relationship wise as well. So being open to shutting my mouth or trying not to be the mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Hard one to do sometimes, right?
I know.
You got those
Yeah,
tentacles, mom tentacles.
Yep. Yeah. 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 It's one of those, let me fix it for you. Let me help you. Let me, I just have to.
Let go.
Mhm. So thank you guys. So
Thank you.
Your
Nice to meet you all.
in the chapter need
What?
the email for Marsha didn't show up.
I know. I'll post it. I'll put it in. I'll make sure you get it. Okay. I'll post it. We can post them again also in the Facebook group for those of us who are in the Facebook group.
and it's a pleasure to meet Ariana. So
Pleasure to meet you too.
I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah, it's fun.
So
Yeah.
Ariana, I'm going to post, I already posted it to the Facebook page, but I created on my website a Red Thread Connection page just for us that has a lot of information, and I'll continue to add to it. It has some videos on it of me giving an introduction to what the Red Thread really is all about. It has an art project called the Rose Meditation, or have I posted that yet? I might be posting that this week. And then I also have another Red Thread ceremony that's up there that I did in a live stream group a while ago. It's inspirationartjournal.com, and then you just go there and go up and it'll say Red Thread Connection, and that's for, I created that for us. Okay, so at this point, I just want to have us take a few gentle breaths in, feeling our connectedness to each other through the red thread, feeling our solid connection through the red thread, holding your piece of the red thread. We give thanks to the universe, Mother, Father, God, Goddess, all that is, for guiding us, for bringing us together. I give thanks to each of you for saying yes to the call. And may you stay safe. May you stay healthy. You are loved. I love you ferociously. I can say that without a doubt. Even though I don't even know some of you, I love you ferociously. I feel you in my heart already. And I'm so happy to stand in sacred space with you. It's very comforting and fulfilling. And yay!
Thank you.
Yes, I dance. I'm going to stop the recording now, and then I just have one thing to share that doesn't need to be on the recording. Where is it? I'm so bad with these things sometimes.